Hey everybody, welcome to the weekly reroll where we forget to unmute our mics and we forget to turn on our lights. Wow, look at that. Hey, how's it going? This is Koibu here with the weekly reroll, the show that recaps what happened this last week in terms of Twitch D&D shows. And for the time being, we're covering 4 shows. We cover Roleplay Solemn, we cover Dicing with Death, we cover HonorBound, and we cover Misclicks. Now, Misclicks is still on hiatus, so we're only doing 3. Let's start off with what happened this last week in Roleplay Solemn. If you don't want spoilers, it's time to mute it until the Solemn overlay disappears and the Dicing with Death overlay reappears. So, here we go. Roleplay Solemn. Wow. It's the big week. This is also the reason why the show is about 10 minutes late today. 15 minutes late today. 17 minutes late today instead of on time. Where do we start? Well, let's start where we left the party. We left the party just traveling on their way. And while they keep traveling, they're still deciding where they want to go. Do they want to go through the Elven Woods or do they want to go far to the south? Well, we don't have to make that decision because they come to that crossroads where they have to make that decision and there's a tavern there. And in there, it's getting late. So then, you know what? We'll stay at the inn. We'll make this decision tonight. And in the morning, we'll decide whether we want to go through the Elven Woods, which are supposedly haunted, or through the south, where we don't know if we'll have to go even farther around to find a way back over there, So, while they're staying at this inn, they hear that there's a bunch of soldiers and wizards and clerics staying there too. And upon hearing this, the party gathers up in the room and goes, "Shit, guys, there's a ton of people down there. They're all Verasi. There's knights, there's wizards, there's clerics. This is bad. Reptar," they say to Ryan's new squire, we need you to go down there and figure out what's going on. Go find out where they are so we can spy on them or something." Reptar's like, "All right, I got this. Let's go." And he gets downstairs and he's like, "All right, where might they be?" And he opens the first door he comes across, and it's this room filled with these beautiful half-naked women who are drinking wine and eating grapes and just having a fabulous time by the roaring fire with the candlelight, And Reptar's like, "All right, shut the door. Cool, here we are," and proceeds to, hire one of these prostitutes and go bed her. Back with the rest of the party, Reptar having completely forgotten his mission. 5 minutes pass. Shit, Reptar hasn't shown up yet. Where's Reptar? Oh my god, did he get captured? What are we going to do? And so Ryan's like, "Well, he's my squire. So this is what we're going to do." And he takes off his armor, puts it in Zanzel's portable hole, and says, "Leia, turn me invisible and give me your boots." So Leia gives him his boots, so he moves quietly. He doesn't have his armor, so he's going to move super quietly. And then Leia turns invisible, and Ryan, Bregor 2, Bregor 3, Bregor 4, Tariq, whatever we want to call him, heads downstairs. He too opens the first door he sees, which is the same door, sees this brothel, and he's like, "What the fuck is this place?" Sneaks in, starts looking around, goes opens the first door, or this one door, with all these women, and he hears these sounds from inside. And being Tariq is like, "Huh? Wait, what are these noises?" Pokes his head in, and he sees Reptar in the throes of passion with some woman. And Tariq then just kind of walks up, rips the sheet off of them, still invisible, and goes, "Reptar, we gotta get out of here." And Reptar, kind of used to people being invisible at times, like, "Ah, shit, fine, let's go," and starts getting dressed. The woman's like, "There's invisible people taking my sheets off of me. What the hell's going on?" Both of the guys completely ignore her and proceed to walk out the front door. And as they get to the front door to leave, the woman, along with a couple of the other prostitutes, comes up and starts screaming to the proprietor, "There's an invisible person. He's taking off our sheets and he didn't pay." And so the proprietor looks over at them, gives them a talking to, says they owe money. They give him the money. And Reptar and Tariq head outside because there was some misunderstanding, and Tariq thought they were just going to go meet by the stables. So they leave. And upstairs, the rest of the party sees them going outside and decides to go outside to join them. Because, they can see from the window, and eventually Tariq and Reptar get to the stables, and then Tariq uninvises and starts putting on his armor, and the party goes out to see him. However, what was not said in-game during that period of time, the proprietor, hearing that there's an invisible person walking around, goes, "You know what? I'm gonna go talk. I'm just gonna go let these Verasi soldiers know this shit because I don't want any trouble and whatever. So he goes over and tells these Verasi soldiers like, just so you know, there was an invisible person walking around earlier. He was disturbing some of my guests, and upon hearing this, the Rossi soldiers draw their weapons and immediately, go, where is he? Oh, well, he was headed outside to the stables. Half the soldiers go out the back towards the stables. The other half are going towards the front. The spellcasters split as well, and they kind of like take a two-pronged approach to the front. Coming down the stairs is the rest of the party, and they get down to the bottom of the stairs just as some soldiers are coming around out from the room that they're in. Both the stairs kind of lead in that area near the front entrance. And they, sword in hand, they see Victorian. Victorian's like, "Whoa, guys, we don't really need any trouble. What's going on here?" And like the knight just goes and makes an attack at Victorian. On the outside, Tariq and Reptar, who are now dressed, hear the sounds and they come back into the tavern to they see swords flinging and whatnot. Zanzel and Leia manage to squeeze down the stairs and get outside, only to see the whole horde of soldiers coming at them. They both cast lightning bolts, kill like 4 spellcasters, badly damage a bunch of the knights who did pretty well on their saves, but they were primarily targeting the spellcasters. The knights outside charge at Zanzel, and in one round, the three knights just slaughter Zanzel. He just is cut to ribbons and falls to the ground. Leia is invis, and she runs away. She's looking for Helen. Like, where's Helen? Shit, I lost track of her. Where'd she go? She runs back upstairs to see if Helen's still upstairs, or maybe, I don't know, God knows where she went. And she can't find Helen anywhere, so she's running all over the place looking for Helen. Meanwhile, inside, Tariq, Victorian, Reptar, and Sir Hodrick? No, not Sir Hodrick. I guess it's just the 3 of them. The 3 of them are fighting inside, and one by one, they start to suffer some blows, some wounds, but they're dealing a lot of damage to these knights. They actually start beating back the knights, kill a couple of them. Even though the cleric comes in and starts helping out, they cut down the cleric, and the knights are having to retreat and actually go back down the hallway where they came because they can't actually beat Tariq and Victorian toe to toe, even with superior numbers. But Tariq and Victorian kind of have them bottlenecks, so only somebody can come at a time. And that's when one of the knights that's outside opens the front door and just kind of steps back a little bit. And Tariq looks over at the last moment to see this knight kind of smile, holding the door open. And a wizard steps around the corner, and this fireball goes flies into the middle of the room, explodes everywhere. Tariq and Victorian take massive damage. In the next round, the wizard goes first and just sends another fireball in, blowing everything up to help. Tariq is on the ground, bleeding out. Victorian manages to drink an invisibility potion at the last minute and sneak into the room where the horrors were. However, this room is now on fire because Victorian had earlier used his Horn of Blasting to break down the walls or to hit a bunch of these guys and damage the inn to the point that the fire in the fireplace kind of got knocked out, and now the whole horror room is on fire. The whole brothel's on fire. And what's his name? Victorian is invisible in there. He had already drinking a potion of giant strength. While he's in here, he drinks a potion of cure serious, a healing potion of sorts. Tariq is on the ground, basically bleeding out. Zanzel's outside, bleeding out. Leia's nowhere to be seen. Victorian's like, fuck, what are we going to do? Well, he proceeds to head out. He throws open a door, or there's already an open door somewhere. With all the prostitutes have hidden themselves in this room. They see Victorian coming in. They had thrown shit at Leia. Hold on, we'll get to Leia in a moment. Tariq comes through the door, sees a window, and just climbs out the window. Women don't see him at all because he's invisible and whatnot. And Victorian starts looking around for something well, shit, where is everyone? Where are my friends? Where's Zanzel? Where's Leia? Where's Helen? What are we going to do? And then he spots Helen. And he goes over to Helen and literally runs into Leia. So let's backtrack to Leia. Leia ran upstairs looking for Helen, couldn't find her anywhere, ran downstairs into the area where Tariq and Victorian are fighting, wasn't there, pulls open the door into the brothel, sneaks past, there's some bodies leaning against it, which make it hard to open, but she pulls it open, sneaks in, starts looking around the brothel, opens another door, opens a couple of doors looking for an exit, opens one door, eventually, and there's a window right there, but invisible Leia also hears the screams as all the working girls who had hid themselves in that room start screaming as the door gets flung open, and they're throwing like apples and pitchers and whatever they can get their hands on just through the open door. A couple of them hit Leia, and Leia gets out of the way. And it's like, "Stop it! We need to escape. I'm just coming through to get out the window." And then like opens the window and jumps out, and they're like, "Oh my god, there's another invisible person! Oh my god!" Right? Anyway, so then eventually, Victarion goes through there, blah blah blah. Anyway, so now Victarion and Leia are confronting Helen, and they're talking like, "Shit, what are we gonna do?" They're everywhere, and at this point, a bunch of guys start coming around the corner. Leia grabs the ring of teleportation, shoves it into Victarion's hands, and says, "Use this to escape. We're going back to Port Taylor." Grabs onto Helen and the baby, casts or reads one of the teleportation scrolls, and teleports back to Port Tyler, safe with the children, safe with the child and the woman. Coming around the corner, these knights. There's like 3 knights coming around the corner, and Victarion, still invisible, grabs the spear, gets ready, kind of stretches out, waits for them to come past, like where there's 2 kind of there's. I guess it was just 3. It was 2. It doesn't matter. There's 2 knights at some point, and they're side by side. And Victarion waits for them to like come up in line with him, and then he runs his spear through one and into the other and through him, and they just die. And then more of a battle happens. You know, one of the guy who was going through and killing all of their horses so they couldn't escape spots him, calls for reinforcements. He goes around the corner. There's more people coming. There's a cleric and a couple of wizard fighters. The cleric casts a hold person spell, but Victarion passes a save. Battle ensues. Victarion, who's been badly wounded from the other battles and the fireballs coming, takes down one guy, turns to face the other just as the other guy runs his sword up to Victarion's gut. Victarion slumps over, falls to the ground, and dies right there. Leia is safe in Port Tyler with the child and with Helen. The rest of the party is dead. We're late for the weekly reroll because I was making characters with Jeff. So, that's that. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for what happens next in Roleplay Solemn. And with that, we're done discussing Solemn. Woo! So, up next is Dicing with Death. So if you don't want any Dicing with Death spoilers, now's the time to mute the stream. Dicing with Death, episode 15 of Qualnir. So we're in the Underdark, right? And we've got this gnome who's our geomancer who's going to go help build our house. And we're hanging out in his place, and we rest for a little while, and I start poking around, like I drink a bunch of wine, and I'm like, "Oh, is there more wine in that footlocker? Let me go open it up and get us some more wine." And the gnome's like, "Whatever, I'm doing my own thing over here." Blah, 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 blah. He's worrying about the Sunblade and getting his shit together. And I open the chest, I'm like, "Ooh, there's all sorts of shit in here." I look around, take a look at everything, then just pull out the wine and close the chest. We talk with the geomancer some more, me and, what's her name, Mika, whose real name is Michelle. Yeah, so Michelle and I talk to him for a little bit longer, and eventually we get ready to leave this area. And as we're walking out, we get 40 feet from his little hideaway, and I go, "Hold on, I forgot something in there," and I run back in and open the chest, loot everything from the chest, shut the chest, and go, "Hey, whoo, got it," and then we proceed out. Yes! So I did get loot. I did get money for that. I did get experience for that loot. Good. So we proceed to flee the Underdark. We walk for ways until the gnome's like, "Well, there's this other exit we could take too." And we take the shorter exit so we don't have to travel quite so far. And it comes out on the top of the pass before you get to Solstice. You might remember that as the pass where, what's his name? Solomon didn't necessarily fight, but, waited till the ogres slept and then killed them. It's the ogre pass, right? Anyway, we escape there and head back down into Solstice. I feel like we fought something somewhere, but I don't actually think we did. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't think there was any battle. Yeah, we haven't seen the gnome in action. There's been no battles. Okay, we get down to Solstice. We have the Sunblade's body with us. We've been carrying it. The gnome has been levitating the body as we go, so we don't have to actually haul it. And we hand the body off to the guards and proceed to go then kind of look at where we're going to build our shit. We talk to the gnome, explain to him what's going on. We spend some time designing maps for our house that we're going to build. And that's pretty much all that happened this week. Oh, we did fight someone. We fought a Drider. I completely forgot about the Drider. A drider is kind of like think of a centaur, but instead of half man, half horse, it's half woman, half spider. We fought a drider. We kicked its butt. I think it escaped alive. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Anyway, so that's pretty much what happens with Dice and with Death. We get out of the Underdark, we get back to where we need to go. I think we did a shorter episode here because we were having issues again. Yeah, we were having not tethering issues, fucking Comcast issues, right? We're having ISP issues. So again, it was only a 3-hour session, and we get back to town. I think for next week, which we're going to be doing on Thursday, kind of tomorrow. I don't remember what we're doing for next week, but we're still sticking with Qualnir, and I should have all the floor plans for my house done, and I think we're just going to build the house, and Qualnir's got some ideas of what we want to do. Well, no, I know what we're doing next week. Next week, while the geomances away, because I need to go make some more money, Mika and I are going to go check out the sirens on the islands on the way to Sinteron. Yes, there's these isles that have sirens on them, and Mika and I are going to go fight the sirens and loot their bodies. And then we've got some other things to do. So that's what's going on with Dicing with Death. If you stick around, we're going to discuss HonorBound next. But if you don't want any HonorBound spoilers, now is the time to mute the VOD or the stream or whatever you're watching. So here we go. HonorBound, Redemption of the New Guard. Well, this is kind of this also is a low action episode. I think all the action this week was in Solemn. In HonorBound, we spend a lot of time walking back. Each one of the characters has these weird dreams, and we kind of share them with each other, but they're all kind of vague, and we don't understand what any of them mean. We proceed to return with the woman and the children that we rescued to the nearby town on the border of the river, and I'm forgetting the town's name. It's like Tyre or Thyre or Theory. I don't remember the town's name. But while we're there, we're talking to this woman who keeps appearing in, like, throughout the episode. It'll be like the 3 players having a conversation. All of a sudden, she like pops her head in from around the corner. Is like, "Hi, well, let me add my 2 cents to this. I've been listening the whole time," and we make fun of them, and we add the DM Hacksparrow in a bunch. So basically, we're talking, and it seems like the people we were fighting in the previous area, the goblins and the ogre or the ogres and the ogrekin and whatnot, and that weird demon guy, are coming from this town a few towns over. One town over, actually. I forget its name. It's Wool something. And she has some connections to that town, like knows some people in there, and offers to come with us and figure out what's going on. Because like, well, that was a fucking demon. All right, let's figure it out. So we go with her to this other town, and she knows the innkeeper there, and she knew the innkeeper in the last town. She's kind of like knows everyone all over the place. And we decide that we're going to go infiltrate them and figure out what the fuck's going on over there. So my character is turned invisible by Ryan's character, or Justin's character. Someone turns me invisible, and I go into their tavern to get some of their clothes so that we can like go to their secret ceremony, because they've got this weird cult temple thingy going on. So I go steal some of their stuff. We all dress in robes, their robes, go the next morning to their temple where they hold their ceremonies, and like stand in the back and kind of hang out with them, act like they are. And at some point we see, what was his name? Danny, the guy that we had thrown in jail back in Valis. Jonathan. We see Jonathan, although now I have a bunch of questions about that, but we'll get to that in a bit. We see Jonathan there being like heralded on the stage as a new recruit or something, or maybe he's with the other people. I don't know, he's up on stage. There's a bunch of other people on stage, including the guy that we're looking for. And so while they're talking about like, well, we have these new recruits, I'm just like, hey, I'm a new recruit too, and so are my friends. And then we all walk up stage together, heads kind of bowed low. Somehow they spot us as we're climbing onto stage, and a battle ensues. We cut a bunch of people to pieces, and some people manage to escape, and we run out of time. Actually, we go half an hour over time, and we're still out of time in the battle because, we got to go. So I think we end with everyone in the main chamber that was fighting us dead. All the other people who were just like normal worshippers there to visit all fled. There's a back door that Justin is chasing a couple of people down, and we're going to need to go chase people down in that room shortly thereafter. So that's that. That's what happens in HonorBound. And that has been the weekly reroll for this week. Typically, we would do cartography next. However, cartography innately holds spoilers for whatever it is that we were going to do this week. So I can't do cartography publicly. Rest assured, we will continue mapping things, but we cannot do a public cartography because it breaks our spoiler rule. So tomorrow we have, what do you call it, Dicing with Death. And then the day after that we have Solemn. And then on Sunday we have more HonorBound. So that's that, guys. And I will see you all tomorrow. If not tonight, you know what? We might be streaming some shit tonight just for funsies. So stick around later. Not right now. Right now you can go off and do whatever you want, but we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.